Well, hello and welcome to Understand Men Now. I'm Jonathon Aslay of jonathonaslay.com, and I'm so excited for doing this live stream with you today. Our topic, the 3 reasons why men lose interest. The 3 reasons why men lose interest, and it's not you. Let me repeat that. It is not you. All right, really quickly, before we get started, if you're new to my content or if you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you can be notified of new content. And if at any point during this video you like it, please, you like something I say, please hit that like button so more people get notified of this, because the more likes, the more times YouTube shares this. All right, we're going to jump into this topic, the 3 reasons why men lose interest. So really quickly, because this is a live stream, I want you to know I do the content first, and then I leave plenty of time for the Q&A. I leave plenty of time for the Q&A. So in the live chat, you can ask questions, but let me go through this first. So, all right, let's talk about those 3 reasons why men lose interest. Ladies, it's interesting. I was watching a video from a contemporary, and I don't want to say the person's name. And the video was centered around men are simple and women don't get this. Men are simple and women don't get this. And I was thinking to myself, that's really kind of horse crap, because men aren't simple. Men are rather complicated. In fact, they're ridiculously complicated. They might think they're simple. You know, men, when they're giving advice to women about men, they try to make it out that men are just so simple. They're just so easy to understand. It's just so simple. Just feed them, have sex with them, and that's all they really need, right? And that might be true for some men, but we're going to do a deeper dive into understanding male behavior. We're going to do a deeper dive in understanding why a man might come on strong and be so totally into you, and then out of the blue lose interest. And then you might be thinking to yourself, what did I do wrong? What can I do to get him back? What can I do to get him back? And I know so many of you do this, and I want to encourage you to begin rewriting your story of trying to get someone back who doesn't want to be with you. Now, when you understand why this happens, you can actually predict human behavior. When you understand human behavior, you can understand how to predict behavior. And when you can predict behavior, you can make better choices. Let me repeat that. When you can predict behavior, you can make better choices. Doesn't that deserve a thumbs up? I mean, come on, that seems so... I say this because so often many of you are making your choices based on an attachment to a man and not because he's a good candidate to be in relationship with him. Let me repeat that. A lot of times you're attached to a guy not because he's a good candidate for a relationship. It's because you're addicted to him for some reason. But first off, before you ever get there, we're going to talk about what you might want to consider before you give your heart to a man, because you don't want to find yourself in this situation where you've given your heart to someone, you're really attached to them, only to find that they're going to leave you at some point. So I'm going to give you 3 reasons why that might happen. Now, the first is rather obvious, and yet so few women pay attention to this. Let me repeat that. The first one is obvious, and yet so few women pay attention to this. And the first one happens to be if a man has chaos in his life. Chaos, 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 chaos. Now, what does chaos look like? He's in the middle of a divorce. He's in the middle of a contentious divorce. He is divorced and has a salacious ex-spouse. By the way, this goes both ways, men and women alike, okay? So salacious, I mean, just a nasty ex-spouse, okay? There is just a lot of drama and a lot of trauma associated in his life, and there's a tremendous amount of chaos because of a past relationship that doesn't seem to go away. Now, I understand if you're in your 20s and 30s, you might not be involved with someone who's divorced, but since my demographic tends to be what I call midlife, which is after baby making years and before retirement, roughly 75% of singles who are out there actively dating are divorced. So this is most likely going to happen if you're in that age demographic. Now, one thing we can talk about, if they're not married to not previously married, they might have been deeply in love with someone. And because of that, They might still be hung up on someone, and that's causing chaos in their life. And we're going to talk about that a little bit deeper in a moment. But what other types of chaos can be going on in a guy's life? Job loss, or struggles at work, or feeling underpaid or undervalued at work might be one reason. Another reason might be health issues. It might be family issues with, his direct family, not his spouse or children, whatnot, that, or maybe his children. There's some drama or trauma or chaos going on in his life. And again, this is true of women as well. So when someone's life is chaotic, the ground underneath them doesn't feel very solid. And when the ground underneath a person doesn't feel very solid, it's difficult to fully commit to another person. So what happens here is, remember I said before how men come on strong and they chase, they chase you. But there's this belief that the chase is really, he wants a fully committed relationship with you. And that chase is not that. That chase is typically driven from biology. Hey, look, when we men are horny, we'll do or say almost about anything to get laid. Okay. And so, but we might do it in a very charming kind of way. So this is where it can kind of be a little bit, fuzzy for some of you, because it might seem so sincere. This is why I'm such a big proponent of asking really good questions before you ever give your heart, or you ask some really good questions before you ever really get intimate with a man. One of the things I do in my private coaching when I work with a client is I teach them how to vet for emotional maturity. Let me repeat that. I teach clients how to vet for emotional maturity. And if you'd like some support on that, check out the link to a free discovery call with me. It's in the description, so you can learn more about that. So when a man's life is in chaos, again, we come on because we're driven biologically for sex. But really, what we're mostly desiring, men and women alike, are desiring connection. We're desiring companionship. We're desiring that sex. But that doesn't mean we're capable of fully going into commitment. So if one's life is in chaos, it makes it difficult to actually invest in another human being. And when someone's life is in so much chaos that they feel it will impinge upon the relationship, they'll pull away and lose interest. This is why I said it's not you, it could be him. Okay, the second reason, and I'm going to piggyback on something I said before, but the second reason why a man might lose interest is he fears getting too close to someone. He fears getting too close to someone. If a man has been burned, maybe in his marriage, a past relationship, maybe he's been burned 1 or 2 or 3 times, it makes it difficult for them to want to get close to someone. So here's the rub. And by the way, ladies experience this too. We have this biological need to connect. We have this human desire to want companionship. And we have this physical desire to want to be intimate, sexually intimate with someone. So we have these forces going on, but from an emotional, that's a biological thing. From an emotional level, it might be very difficult for someone to be genuinely intimate with another person, to be vulnerable, to be authentic, to be transparent. So what happens is the minute we get a little too close to the emotional side, we might run away for fear of getting too close. Let me repeat that. We might run away. So this is why you want to ask questions about their past relationship. I am so tired of this bullshit rhetoric that you're not supposed to interview a guy on a date. You are absolutely supposed to be interviewing him. You're interviewing him for the job of your potential life partner. Now, when I say interview, I don't mean interrogation. What I mean is a conversation, not a confrontation. Interviewing should be very conversational. However, you should absolutely be interviewing someone. Let's forget this crap that you're not supposed to. But Jonathon, we're just supposed to have fun when we're dating. It's just about having fun. Are you having a good time? It's all about fun. Be in the moment. Just have fun. Well, let me tell you what happens when you have too much fun and then the relationship doesn't work out. And then you have too much fun again and the relationship doesn't work out. And you have too much fun again and the relationship doesn't work out. And what happens is dating can trigger the #1 emotional health issue most every one of us are facing. On a core level, we fear. I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable. I'm not likable. And repeated dating and going out with people and having it end over and over and over again. And sometimes it could just be a one date. It could be 3 dates. You could have had 10 dates. You could have a short-lived relationship. When we've had enough of this, it absolutely wears on our self-confidence, our self-worth, and our self-esteem. This is one of the reasons why I wrote my book, What the Heck is Self-Love Anyway? What the heck is self-love anyway? Have you gotten this book? You have to check it out. It's a dive into personal development, self-help, and spiritual work, having a daily basis of loving on yourself. Because when we've had too many bad experiences or endings, what might feel like failures, we might be less likely to lean into a new relationship, especially with someone who might be great for us. I can't tell you how many times a man might ignore a great woman or might lose interest because he's afraid of getting close. This is why I teach you techniques to ask the right questions. And yes, you should be interviewing each other. It's a job interview. I don't care if anyone says otherwise. I know everybody focuses on just being in your fun, But let me just tell you what fun can lead to. Fun can lead to a lot of hurt. This is why be intentional. Be intentional, be purposeful about your dating. And I want to lean into the third reason, and this is a very uncomfortable one because as a man, I've experienced this. But I want to piggyback on the chaos piece, and I said something to the effect of health issues. Now, health issues might be physical health issues, high blood pressure, overweight, maybe even some drinking problems or drug problems. I know I had that back in the day when my life was in chaos. But a man might be experiencing something different, and this has to do in the area of performance. And a man might, we biologically want sex, okay? And we're certainly stimulated when it's new sex. What happens is for men that have performance issues, they might have the drive for sex, but what happens is shortly after they've had the, for lack of a better word, the conquest around sex, their performance issues might start to truly rear its ugly head. And if he has a psychological issue that's blocking his sexual performance, he might start to crawl inside of himself and withdraw and pull away, not because of you, but because of himself. And this is a very tricky one to look, this is a hard one to spot. Now, the reality is most men over 45 or 50 are on the blue pill or the white pill if you're taking the generic version. And I know this because I'm in that space, okay? I'm just going to own it. And I feel a little bit of ashamed about it. My testosterone levels have dropped a little bit. That's another thing that happens to a lot of men. So what happens in this particular case, shame might cause a man to either pull away or, lose interest or ignore you because he's dealing with a lot of inner stuff that's going on. And this is the reality of human beings. This is why when I was listening to that guy, that coach telling women that men are just so simple and all we just want is food and sex and that's all you really need to do. Well, that's such a crock of shit because human beings are riddled with complications. Oh my God. This is why I'm a big proponent of being compassionate, both for others and for ourselves. And when we start from a place of compassion, and as I said before, when you understand human behavior, you can begin to predict what's going to happen. And when you can predict things, you can make better choices. And that's what this video is all about, to help you make a few better choices by understanding male behavior. And let me just say this, everything I shared is true for women as well. It's just a different version of it, but it's just the other side of the coin of the same thing. Is this resonating with you? If it is, please hit that like button so more people can get to see this. If I've said something that's really just nailed it for you, please hit that like button. I truly appreciate it. All right, I'm about to answer questions now, so I'm going to scroll there for a second. But before we do, we're going to do another 90s trivia like we did on our last live stream. Really quickly, I want to share with you. It's Sunday. I'm doing this live stream. Partially, I'll be candid. I'm feeling very lonely. lonely is not the right word. I'm feeling rather bored. Okay. I live by myself. I live in a great place down by the ocean. I just had lunch with my son down by the beach and we took a walk on the beach. So I have a very blessed life. But the reality is because of COVID and because of all the fear around it, a lot of my social friends aren't getting together like we used to in the same way. And I'm just jonesing for connection. I'm just jonesing for connection. This is why doing this for me is a treat. I get to share from my heart. There's another thing that happened too. I'll save this for a little bit later because it relates to Connor. And I'll share something that did come up. But let's do this trivia question first, and then I'm going to look and answer questions. So we're going to put our glasses on. And our first one, this is 90s trivia. Our first one says, according to Right Said Fred's 1991 chart topper, what did Fred boast he was too sexy for? Let me repeat that. According to the Right Said Fred's 1991 chart topper, what did Fred boast he was too sexy for? Let's see if you can get the answer to that. All right. It's time to answer questions. Let's check out the Q&A board. All right. Let me go all the way to the top. Yes, I'm happy that you caught me trying to control alcohol addiction. That was Jane. I think, why do men I seem to find in my age group aren't good shape physically, and they seem elderly to me? They want to be nursed or extra income. Why am I manifesting men like that? That's an interesting question, Michelle. I don't know if I have a direct answer. I can tell you that both men and women alike, as they age, tend to, especially here in the United States, get very lazy because we're no longer in a agricultural environment where we actually had to hunt and create our own food. Which actually up until 100 years ago, there wasn't obesity, maybe 150 years ago, there wasn't the kind of obesity we have because there wasn't processed foods and there wasn't so much garbage in our environment. So the reality is men and women alike at this stage in life many cases have done a terrible job taking care of themselves. This is one of the reasons why in my book, What the Heck is Self-Love Anyway? And by the way, there's a link in the description to all my recommended books. I have a chapter called Your Body is a Machine, Not a Temple. Your body is a machine, not a temple. By the way, if that resonates with you, hit the like button. The reason why I said that is healthy eating keeps us alive longer. Now, why would you be attracting that? I think I want to say 80% of the population over 45, 50 years old are in terrible shape. So statistically, you have an 8 out of 10 chance to get approached by someone who's out of shape. And let me just say, ladies are in the same boat. I'm tired of the rhetoric that it's one-sided. Women do a terrible job taking care of themselves. Men do a terrible job. I really, truly believe less than 20% of the population actually does a by the way, I exercise six days a week. I exercise 6 days a week. I was on the treadmill today for 30 minutes and I weightlifted for 30 minutes. I do it every day, 6 days a week. By the way, my little counter said I burned 600. Let me see. I burned. I'm bragging here for a second. Well, it didn't come up, but it looks like I burned 631 calories today. And yes, I'm in that category. By the way, living in Los Angeles, if you want to keep up, you've got to keep in shape. So maybe it's the city you live in. I really don't know, Michelle, but I just want to say to you, it's statistically, that's the population you're going to most likely get is 8 out of 10 men. Okay, Maya writes, thank you for saying that about interviewing potential future mates. You're very welcome. Jane writes, yes, this guy did not want to get too close, so he started acting like a jerk and pushing me away. Here's the thing. Fear causes people to do all kinds of terrible things. I can tell you that when I was going through my divorce and I was such an emotional train wreck at that time, I was doing all kinds of insincere things. Didn't mean I was doing it intentionally. It was just that was the byproduct of where I was at. So when people are in fear, that's not uncommon to have that happen. Mary writes, can you send me the link to buy your book? Check out the links in the description. It's called selflovethebook.com or Jonathon recommends, selflovethebook.com, or you can go to Amazon. That's where the book is at, on Amazon. Okay, Anna writes, this is exactly what I'm going through with a guy. He is so afraid to get close to me. I'm sorry to hear that. Jennifer writes, I interview men on dates and even ask these questions if we are talking online. I'm intentional. Way to go, Jennifer. That's exactly it. I say interrogate people. I say that with love, but absolutely. You know what? Here's my cup today. What does that say? Let that shit go. We got to let go of this old paradigm. The reality is look, we're no longer meeting people organically who are part of our daily life. The reality is that we're meeting total strangers. Better cut to the quick. I'm all like, first message on a Bumble or Hinge or whatever, I cut right to the chase. Why start a whole dialogue just so you can feel comfortable, only to end up at the same place you're going to be? I cut to the quick. I ask some really important, serious questions up front, personal to me. You've got to find out what they are for you and ask those very quickly on. One of the questions, a meme I saw said, here's a good question to ask. Someone write this in. Does anyone believe they're in a relationship with you right now? Let me repeat that. Does anyone believe they're in a relationship with you right now? That's a great question. This is trying to weed out people who are married, who are in relationship with someone else, because the reality is most people are actually involuntarily honest when you catch them off guard. So see about that one. Someone write that into the comments. All right, let's see what else we have. Are you liking this live stream on a Sunday? If you are, please hit that like button so more people can see this. I'd be truly grateful. Let's see. I am love. Hey, sweetheart. Jane, hi. Okay, Leaf writes, oops. Where'd Leaf go? Bear with me. I am so sorry. Yes, he's too sexy for his shirt. You got it right. All right, sorry. Leaf writes, thank you, Jonathon. I'll have to listen to the replay on. Okay, gotcha. Sharon writes, Mary Angel used the down arrow on the subject for this video. That's, by the way, that's to get a copy of my book. No, Boo, he's not too sexy for his shorts. He's too sexy for his shirt. Not his cat. Okay, Nadia writes, like I said, why don't women look for a man they want to go out with and not just look for a man who they want? I'm not really understanding what that means. Why don't women look for a man they want to go out with and not just for a man who they want, who want them? Oh, want them. So, yes. Certainly, we shouldn't want to feel wanted by another person, and we should want the other person. That's what it should feel like. Two people wanting to be with each other and genuinely from a heart-centered place wanting to be with one another. You know, before I started this video, I pulled out a book that I like by Alan Cohen. I haven't talked about this book before. It's called The Wisdom of the Heart by Alan Cohen. And one of the chapters that just, you know, I said, look in the mirror. Now, I'm not going to read it for you, but I definitely want you to check out. This is a cute little book that I got. So much wisdom about the heart. When we lean into the heart, lean into our heart, lean into someone else's heart, we have a greater chance of connecting with them at a soul level, at a real soul spiritual level. This is why I'm such a big proponent of personal development, self-help, and spiritual work. So we get truly connected to our soul, our heart, our sincere space within us, because then we're able to notice who is also in their heart versus who's either in their dick or in their head. Let me repeat that. Is it his little head talking, or is it the big head talking, but not the heart? The heart. Yeah. That's one of the things I encourage all my clients, those that work with me privately, to learn how to really vet for a man's heart. Because when you can understand a man's heart from a not the biological perspective, from the emotional perspective, you have a greater chance of having a successful relationship. And I teach you how to vet for that emotionally mature, that person that's in his heart versus the one who's in this head or this head. All right, let's see what other questions we have. Is this resonating with you? If it is, please hit that like button so more people can see this. I'd be truly grateful. All right. Boo writes, when I asked my ex to stop doing things that hurt me, he took it as control. Why? Well, because he doesn't want to genuinely, he saw that as a threat. Not, let me backtrack. He didn't see that. He first probably saw that as criticism, because he wasn't actually listening to you. He thought you were attacking him. He wasn't understanding that you didn't feel good about the relationship. And when you expressed yourself, it was like when his mother or father, for me, it was my mother. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. When we're raised with parents that continually tell us we're doing something wrong, all someone has to do is tell us something. And if we're not willing to look inward, we deflect. It feels like control. It feels like mothering. But here is the thing, Boo. You were expressing something that didn't feel good in the relationship. Someone who genuinely cares about you, someone who wants to truly connect with your heart, wants to know, what can I do to make you feel safer in this relationship? That's what an emotionally mature man would do, or emotionally mature woman would do. Only people who are emotionally weak or still stunted get defensive and throw it back as control. Now, I'll be candid. You know, I know what it feels like to be mothered at an elderly age. I was in relationship with women who would tell me how to cook things or how to do things. That felt a little controlling. From a mothering perspective, I know from her perspective, it was just love, but I'm a grown man right now. I know how to do certain things. Now, this is where I have to learn a little bit of grace too. But that's what it can feel like if we haven't truly healed our parent issues in our lives. It can feel like control. So, Boo, I hope that helps you understand what might have been going on. Nadia says, we eat too much meat. That could be true. Lots of men over 50 are out of shape and think they're too sexy for their shirt. Yes, they do. I am love. I will say I'm in good shape in my 40s. Lots of yoga, spinning, and martial arts. Way to go. If you were only in my city. Thanks, Mia. Okay, BB says, I lost my spouse and 2 adult sons unexpectedly in 2018. I'm in Santa Cruz 54. I'm in the same place you are, Jonathan. I have the same workout regimen. Oh, man, that just hurts reading that. It hurts me personally. Whenever I hear about someone who's lost a child or lost a loved one, now I truly get triggered. I said earlier, I'm doing this live stream because I was watching a movie called something Staten Island Kid or something like that. I can't remember what it was. It's with Pete Davidson. And Pete Davidson is on the TV show SNL. And he lost his father when he was 2 years old. And just knowing that breaks my heart. It so breaks my heart. I can't even imagine what it was like to not grow up with a father. And as a parent who lost a child, and again, those who know that there's Connor right there, my son who passed away a couple years ago, it is very hard to sometimes just hold it together. It is so hard to hold it together. And that's why I'm doing this live stream, because I'm lonely right now. Not because I'm pathetic, not because I'm a loser, not because I'm in my feminine energy, or I'm not in my masculine or whatever. Because I just want to connect with people. And I'm grateful that I have a platform like YouTube to do that. And I share this with you, is that we're all feeling this way. We're all feeling pain on some level. And as I said before, the #1 emotional health issue is I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable. I'm not likable. This is why it's such crap when I hear such dating advice make it seem like everything is so simple. No, everything is fucking complicated for a variety of different reasons. And when we don't know someone's history, their story, we can't know what it's like. People ask me, why are you single, Jonathan? I went through hell in the last 3 years. It's been very difficult to want to get too close to someone after what I've gone through. And so I share this with you as I see as humans, we oftentimes judge others way too quickly without ever knowing what's going on behind the curtain. And that's why I'm sharing with you these reasons. That's why I did one the other day, and why I share what men fall in love with, because when we understand what goes on behind the curtain, we can actually have a greater level of empathy and compassion for others. So it breaks my heart to read that. We're in the same boat. I get it. I'm giving you lots and lots of love. I'm giving you a big, gigantic Jonathon bear hug, if that's okay, because I know what it's like to feel that kind of pain. Oh. Thank you, BB. Zara writes, yay to exercise. I'm bragging too. I went on a hike today. Okay, Linda writes, great for you. Linda writes, lost my husband to cancer, now widow, loving first. See, another one. Linda, my heart goes out. Okay. Bear with me. Thank you, Michelle. Chin, thank you for saying on Mawson. Does anyone believe they're in a relationship right now? Great question. Yes. Malika says, I'm 37. I went to date many men that lied that they're in their 40s, but they're in their early 50s. You know, I can say I've been there. I've been in that space where I fudged about my age because I don't want to be rejected, because I'm in my 50s now, and I feel like I can feel like I can be rejected. So some of us feel like we have to fudge on our age to be accepted. And this is the sad truth. This age discrimination is going on for men and women alike. Now, a man in his 50s going after a 37 years old, I think that's kind of pushing it a little bit. But hey, you know, if he wants that, that's okay. But why people do that? Because of age discrimination. Looks like we have a paid chat. So let's see. Oh, you're very welcome, Boo Boo. Oh, thanks so much for that super sticker. I really appreciate it. All right. Now, how do I? Okay. Thanks so much. Teresa writes, Jonathon, I would love for you to read these books to us and open up for questions after each chapter. That might be a thing I can do. Thank you, Teresa. I'll do that soon. Who's in their dick? Wrong head boy. Thank you, Mia. What is a good dating site? POF seems to have lots of jerks on there. Okay, good dating sites. Great question. So first and foremost, Match.com happens to be the biggest site. So that's where most people go to, along with their sister companies, which includes Our Time. I do like OkCupid, and I like Bumble for apps, and I like Hinge. Those apps, but by the way, jerks, assholes, players, gold diggers, they're on every dating site. They're on every dating site. It's not one is in, free ones can draw more lackadaisical people, but I'm here to say, my suggestion, Match.com, Bumble, Hinge, OkCupid, those are some of the best. JDate and certainly eHarmony. But eHarmony is such a small selection. But you know what? I'm a believer of every spoke in the wheel, every spoke in the wheel. You know what? Here's the thing. If you're not willing to invest $50 or $100 a month in your love life to find a life mate, then you have no business out there. Invest in yourself, invest in opportunities, and put yourself on every platform, because the more spokes in the wheel, your greater chance for success. Now, some of you might think, well, Jonathon, that's exhausting. Well, I'm here to say you don't have to spend more than 15 or 20 minutes on any given day. Shit, I spend that on the bathroom toilet. I could do all my swiping then. By the way, I know that was gross. I hope you don't mind. I know women spend less time on the toilet, but you spend that much time putting on makeup. Invest in your love life for that much time. All right. I hope this is resonating with you. Please hit that like button. And if you want to check out the description to all my books, my coaching, and my membership. All right. Thanks again, Boo. Someone writes, POF is trash. Thank you, Linda, for the comment about my book. Your book, Self-Love, is amazing. Thank you. Jennifer writes, defensive behavior is unhealed trauma. I've learned that. Yes, defensive behavior is unhealed trauma. This is why, where is the book? Where's my book? Oh, here. Read the book, The Four Agreements. The Four Agreements. The Four Agreements. Let's read them out loud. First agreement. Sorry for picking my nose. First agreement, be impeccable with your word. Second agreement, don't take anything personally. Oftentimes people's issues of you is just their projection. Number 3, don't make assumptions. And number 4, always do your best. Check out the book, The Four Agreements. I highly recommend it. And yes, defensive behavior is oftentimes just unhealed shit. Thank you, Boo, for the virtual hug. I am love. Thank you. Okay. Jennifer writes, I fudged my age a few years ago online. My guy friend told me to do that. I didn't like OkCupid at all. All right. By the way, my ex-girlfriend fudged on her, and I'm not going to say by how much. And, you know, the guy she's with, they're 1 year apart from each other, and they're in a great relationship. So, you know what? Let's stop. And by the way, fudging on your age is not lying. Lying is looking someone in the eye and telling someone the untruth. Putting it on a dating profile is just to get found in the search engines. Let's stop judging people for this. All right, if you like what I'm saying, please hit that like button. All right, let's see what else. Chin writes, childhood trauma involves sexual abuse, affects a lifetime. Partners can't relate. You know, let's face it, someone who's had sexual abuse or true trauma in their childhood makes it my feet are cold, makes it very difficult for them to be in an intimate relationship. This is why we have to ask really good questions before we get too involved with someone. Find out their past history and find out what they're doing right now in their life to heal from their stuff. And if they're not doing much, I got to tell you, I have a client right now. She entered into a relationship with someone that she had known for a while. I was pushing her against it, but nope, he's giving her attention. She likes receiving the attention. And he did his typical turnaround again, which was number 2. I've been hurt in the past. You deserve better. How many times have you heard this bullshit, ladies? You deserve better. You deserve better. This is a guy who's been hurt in the past and hasn't done any fucking shit to heal his own stuff and become a victor in his life. He's more focused on being a victim. I'm a victim of being hurt by women. I'm a victim of being hurt by women. And I don't mean physically, I'm emotionally. Maybe you should look in the fucking mirror, dude, and find out what you can do to heal yourself. We got to stop giving men a pass for their passivity. And what I mean by a pass is stop enabling men just because they're giving you attention. There I go again. I'm screaming. But you get my point, right? All right, I hope that answers your question. JP, I lost my husband 5 years ago this week, drug related. I hear you. My heart goes out to all those in pain. It's not easy and not everyone understands. Working on self-care. Sweetheart, I am giving you a big, gigantic hug, Jane. I can't even imagine what that is like. I only know my suffering and pain. Victoria writes, the guy I'm dating always says he wants to see me, but then makes other plans, then he ghosts me. Well, then are you really dating him? If he's always doing this, are you actually dating him? Are you guys seeing each other 2 to 3 times a week? Are you having regular sex together? Are you spending time in social activities and hobbies, spending time with family and friends, traveling together, doing stuff? Or is this just a internet-based relationship? I'm just curious. Are you just spending time, Victoria, on the phone and text messaging versus actual face-to-face time? Because someone you are in relationship should be investing 2 to 3 days a week with you on a regular basis, doing shit together. Is this sinking in? Please hit the like button if it is. Big hugs to you, Victoria. Brenda writes, that is a great question and is what I should have asked in my last relationship. Other women thought they were in relationship with him when we dated, and I soon realized I was one of them. So what is the question? Does anyone think they're in a relationship with you right now? That's a great question to ask. So I hope this helps. God, my nose is, and I probably got a booger in there or something. All right. Leaf writes, why do men 50 plus have an unwillingness to go to counseling and coaching and go silent when they used to freely open up about work, exes, children, and trauma? So So people in their 50s are a byproduct of the baby boom generation or the early Gen X generation. Prior to that, therapy was considered taboo. It was considered taboo. So a big percentage of men in their 50s who are in that baby boom percentage weren't raised the way, look at my son, Colin, and I hope he doesn't kill me for saying this, but he wanted to see a therapist after his brother passed away. And I was so for it, but I'm grateful he did it because, well, thing is, he had a father who was a personal development junkie. So I am my son's therapist in a way, not because, in a way because I have some expertise at this. My generation would have never considered therapy. It's very rare that someone would consider therapy in their 50s and 60s. And it usually takes a horrific, humbling event for someone to want to say, I want to heal on my inside. So the reason, and this is true of the vast majority of men, a significant by the way, here's the thing, ladies, most guys are good guys. They're just bad daters or they're fucked up. Just like most women are good people, they're just either bad daters or emotionally fucked up, I mean. I don't mean that to be crass to anyone. It's just it's very small percentage of people that are actually doing personal development, self-help, and spiritual work. That's again why I wrote my book, What the Heck is Self-Love, to begin that journey. I can't tell you how many women have written me, said, Jonathon, I bought this for a guy and he loved it. So sometimes it takes baby steps. But here's the thing. If a person is addressing their issues, then I'm all in favor in investing in someone who's addressing his issues. If they're avoiding their issues, then you have to be careful where you walk because you might go down the rabbit hole with him. And that's no fun going down someone else's rabbit hole. Okay, my invitation is date men who are already addressing their emotional issues. I hope you're addressing your emotional issues, or at least is willing to invest in doing couples work together. Oh, that's another thing. God dang it. Couples work. Why look at ladies, if the penis gets to go in the vagina on a regular basis and you want to improve your relationship, then go to a couples counselor to help each other communicate with one another in a healthier, happier way. This is why I'm such a big proponent of the book. Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. It should have been called Compassionate Communication. The point here is that when you learn how to communicate with each other better, you have a greater chance for success in relationships. So go to a couples counselor, and if he's not willing to invest in helping the relationship grow, then why does he get to have sex with you? Or why do you get to have sex with him? People should be working on co-creating a relationship. Look at this, co-creating a relationship together that leads to partnership. This is why I'm such a big proponent of the book, Spiritual Partnership by Gary Zukav. Spiritual Partnership by Gary Zukav. Check out the links below. Write this down. This is a great book. And then, of course, my favorite of all time, 8 Dates by Dr. John and Julie Gottman. 8 Dates by Dr. John and Julie Gottman. You got to get this if you want to be in a great relationship. By the way, we're going to do another 90s trivia question, but guess who joined us right now? Salty wants to say hi. Salty says hi. For those who know, Connor's nickname is Salty. So when I say Salty Forever, I'm talking about him. And here's my little puppy to say hi to you all. All right, let's do another trivia question. Well, let's see if I'll take a couple more questions. Jennifer writes, wait a minute. Leaf writes, thank you for your vulnerability. Sharon writes, let's see. Oh, we got a lot. We got to go up. If you do not heal what you hurt you, you will bleed on all those who didn't cut you. A quote I live for. Let me say that one more time. Tell me if you like this quote. Hit the like button. If you don't heal what hurt you, you will bleed on those who didn't cut you. I love that quote. Nerd writes, too many times it doesn't stop for them looking for some nookie thought from nookie. Protect yourself, ladies. Look at, I'm not here to focus on personally what's wrong and coming from a place of having to put up guards and walls. I'm a big proponent to be open and receptive to love. Here, hold on one second. This is what's on my front door. I want you to read this. It's kind of hard to read. It says, open and receptive to love, a relationship leading to partnership. And the word easy, in other words, it's an easy relationship. Open and receptive to love. If you're protecting yourself, you're not open and receptive to love. This is what's on my front door. I see it every day when I walk out. And my invitation is for you to be open and receptive to love. Just don't get attached to someone you don't know too well, and hire me to figure that out for you. Please hit that like button if this resonates. Michaela and Nerd, I hope you don't mind, but I'm not for protection. I'm for being open and not giving your heart away until two people are really in a good space to be with each other. All right. Oh, I was going to do a trivia question. Oh, this is a good one. This is 90s trivia. What did Lorena Bobbitt do to her husband, John? What did Lorena Bobbitt do to her husband, John? Let's see if you can get this one right. All right. Sharon writes, I was looking for some 65 to 72. I had some 80-year-old come to meet up. Might be nice guy, but his needs and mine were different. Okay. Gotcha. Leaf writes, thank you so much, Jonathan, for your vulnerability and desire to connect instead of withdraw. Thank you so much, Leaf. I appreciate that. I need more wine for this comedy show. Thanks, Boo. I'm drinking. You know what? There's coffee in here. Next time it'll be alcohol. Okay. True confession. I had a little pot before I did this. Okay. I live in California. It's legal. I got a dispensary. But yes, I do like to take a puff every now and again to chill out. And I like taking edibles to help me sleep. So yes, I'm a tiny bit buzzed. All right. Jennifer writes, therapy changed my life. I wish more people went. Yes, yes, yes. I wish more people went. Trying to think. Here's a good, well, we don't need to talk about that book. All right. Growing up as a teen, Linda writes, growing up as a teenager when I lost my mom at age 12, then experienced sexual abuse for the next 4 years of therapy, affected every relationship before I trusted men again. Linda, my heart goes out to you. I can't even imagine, A, losing your mom and then to have to go through that. That's just fucking terrible. And it's great that you've done work on yourself, because here's the thing. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. I can tell you that just not even, losing my $250,000 a year job, going through a divorce. I was a total drug addict and an alcoholic for about 10 years. I was in the depths of despair. And it was the personal development, self-help, and spiritual work that prepared me for the loss of Connor. I think I wouldn't be alive right now if it wasn't for the work I did ahead of time. Before my mom passed away, that's my mom and dad, by the way, when they're in their 20s. And then when Connor passed away. So I'm so grateful you've done work, because without trust, it's hard to be in a relationship. Thanks, Linda. I'm sending you a big, gigantic Jonathan Bear hug. Leaf writes, great idea, book reading. Okay. Irene writes, thank you so much. You make so much sense. We all want connection. Exactly. Lynette writes, question, when he says he made love to you, does he love you? His other behaviors are consistent and no red flags. When he says he made love to you, does he love you? We oftentimes use the word making love, because who wants to say I fucked you? Okay? Because we don't. We say we made love. That's speaking from our heart. Does that mean they love you? Love is actually demonstrated through actions. So my question is, if his actions consistently are demonstrating a union together, then he loves you, most likely. Irene writes, too sexy for a shirt. Okay. Yes, Sarah and Nadia, they cut off his dick. That was Lorena Bobbitt. We got a couple more trivia questions, but you got that right. I love that you admitted that you were buzzed. You're so real and honest. You know what? Thank you so much. For every one of you that watch me, I am so grateful that you actually appreciate my vulnerability, authenticity, and transparency. Some might call that feminine energy. Ugh. I call it being fucking real. We got to stop putting boxes of masculine and feminine. How about just being real? is being vulnerable, authentic, and transparent. We don't have to put a gender association to it, like the words masculine and feminine. So, by the way, it's a sore subject for me, so I get a little riled up with this shit. Hey, it's my issues. Look at, I got tons of issues. I'm no picnic to be with. Believe me, I can be a pain in the ass too. And by the way, I appreciate all of you, how loving and kind you are towards me. You tell me what a great catch I am. I do. My ego loves it like nobody's business. But again, until you look beyond the curtain and know a person, you can't really know what my life is like, just like I can't know what your life is like. I do my best to be fully transparent with you. But many of you aren't sitting here with me on the nights that I'm crying my eyes out because I miss my son. And it makes it difficult sometimes to get close to someone. That doesn't mean I'm not capable of it, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm not here to fuck around, and I don't want you to fuck around either, wasting time with the wrong people. This is why I'm a coach. I'm here to be laser focused to help you pick the right guy so you don't have to feel like you've gone on date after date after date after date. And that's something I can help you with. I hope this resonates with you. Please hit that like button. All right. I love saying what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And then Kelly Clarkson wrote a song about it. Yes. Leaf writes, dealt with mine and told my now ex to deal with his childhood wounds so his children do not suffer more. Generational curses do not have to continue. So, Leaf, okay. For everyone, I did something called the Hoffman Process. The Hoffman Process. The Hoffman Process is a deep dive into your childhood wounds and traumas that cause our negative patterns and limiting beliefs. And what happens is we pass this down generation. And so by the time I caught up with this shit, I think Colin was probably 14 years old. But we had a conversation the other day. He was sharing with me how disappointed he was that I was an absentee father for the first 5 or 6 years of the divorce. And I truly was a fucking basket case. I was a train wreck. This is why I began this coaching practice to help women recognize men who are fucking in chaos and a train wreck. Colin, I just had this conversation the other day. What he also said, though, was, Dad, you were so attentive and you helped develop my personal development work I made my kids listen to Tony Robbins and Abraham Hicks and Wayne Dyer. And I took Connor to a Rich Man Poor Dad event, Robert Kiyosaki. And I doused them with all kinds of personal development stuff. And I've encouraged Colin to go seek therapy and now he teaches children, he works with children. So he's learning so much about being a great human being, and very few people get this chance because we pass down trauma from generation to generation to generation. And I'm here to say it sucks. This is why it doesn't matter when you begin your journey, just begin your journey and do the work of personal development, self-help, and spiritual work. And hopefully you attract a guy that does the same. This is why I'm a big proponent of self-compassion. Read that. Who's this book by? Kristen Neff. Read this book about self-compassion. It starts with loving on ourselves. Can we do that? Can you agree to that? Please hit the like button if you agree. All right, let's take some more. I'll do a trivia question in a second. I watch you because you're real. Fuck the haters. Thanks, Mia. Why does he go hot and cold if he likes you? Well, just like this YouTube live is about. He could have chaos in his life. He fears getting close, or he has performance issue. This is one of just many reasons why this happens. We all want connection, companionship, and sex, but that doesn't mean we're capable of doing a deeper dive into commitment and intimacy. This is why I teach this work. Instead of this bullshit, just sit back in your feminine energy and guys will just gravitate towards you. Yeah, for the short run. I'm here to teach you the long run. This is why you've got to buy these books that are especially 8 Dates. And by the way, ladies, I'm going to tell you something. Ever since I started talking about books on my videos, women have been introducing these books to men that they're actively dating. And guess what? The vast majority of men are actually receiving this. They're actually leaning in. So here's the thing. And if he doesn't, that means he doesn't want a serious relationship. Anyone who rejects the idea of co-creating a healthy, happy relationship is a guy who can't go the distance. So drop that motherfucker as quickly as you can. And by the way, guys are now watching my channel, and I can't tell you how many are agreeing with what I'm saying. Not because I'm being your big brother protecting you against them. It's because they agree with this. We got to stop this bullshit narrative about the rule. Most dating advice is based on this book, The Rules, which is all bullshit reverse psychology way of approaching relationships. I'm here to say reverse psychology only works temporarily. Only works temporarily. If you want to do a deeper dive into love, then you better have this book on your nightstand. Where's my client? I'm going to tell you about a client, Jen Amber. By the way, she's got a skincare product. She just sent me this. Let me just show this, Jen Amber. She sent me some retinol for under my eyes. I know my eyes seem a little baggy. She loves this book. She has totally changed the way she's dating. By the way, she has a YouTube channel, J-I-N Amber. Check it out. She loves this book. All my clients are loving this book. I'm here to encourage you. If you want a deeper, healthier, happier relationship, then do the reading, because it's going to prepare you for a great relationship. Okay, thank you. Where am I? Okay, Chin writes, spirituality and communication for sure. Voice your emotions. Voice your truth. I agree. Does a guy love you if he cheated on you? What does love mean to you? Let me tell you what love means to me. And if this resonates, then this is the men you should be having sex with. Love means to me, I'm going to say it slowly, I'm here. You matter. We are important. I've got your back. I'm not going anywhere, and I only want you. Now, I'm here. That means I'm present. I'm not in the future. I'm not in the past. I'm present. I'm here. You matter. This says that you're important to me. You matter. And then we are important. That says that the relationship is important to me. I'm here. You matter. We're important. I've got your back. That means I'm going to, you know what? If you're going through a hard time, I'm going to be there for you. I had a client, not a client, a friend. She had lost her son, 19-year-old son, just like mine, 6 months after my son passed away. And she had just started dating a guy. She had literally was 1 month into the relationship. And could you imagine this? They were out on a date together when she found out she lost her son. That breaks my heart. This guy had her back from that moment on, like you can't believe. And they eventually got married a year later. I've got your back. I'm not going anywhere. That means I'm committed to this relationship, and I only want you. If someone is cheating, that's actively cheating, you got to ask yourself. Now, if someone cheated and wants to build a relationship with you, then I highly recommend reading this book. Where is it? Oh, I didn't pull it out. Oh, here it is. Actively read this book, Chatting or Cheating. Chatting or Cheating. How to detect infidelity, rebuild love, and affair-proof your relationship. It's in the link in my Jonathon Recommends. This is a great, by the way, the last half of this book is a great book to also develop an amazing affair-proof relationship. I highly recommend checking this out. Salty says hi. All right, let's see what else we have. I tell my guy that he's a catch, handsome, smart, and the best, and it helps. Okay, Mary Beth writes, I tell my guy he's a catch, handsome, smart, and the best. You know, we men want to feel complimented. We get about this many compliments in any given day. Ladies typically, before COVID, oh my God, I love that purse. Oh my God, I love that dress. What did you do to your hair? Your hair looks great. You ladies get a gazillion compliments a day. We get 0 compliments. We're thirsty for compliments too, because that tells you that you're into us. I'll tell you, my best first date ever. This is, let's see, my divorce was 15 years ago. This was about 8 months after my divorce. My first date, one of my favorite first dates, and we dated for 3 months. I was just such a fucking train wreck. And she knew it. Oh, let me tell this. Well, let me grab it in a second. So on our first date, she said to me, oh my God, you are way more handsome in person. I mean, she said, you're drop dead gorgeous. Now the Leo in me, woohoo! I mean, stroke my mane. She said all the right thing because I'm a words of adoration, not affirmation, words of adoration. But she knew I was a train wreck because of the chaos I was going on in my life. I'm going to share something with you all. We had met in November of 2005, and Christmas time, she gave me this gift. Now, you can't tell really what it is, but it's a picture frame with rose-colored glasses. After our second date, you know what she said to me? She said, Jonathon, I have to date you with rose-colored glasses because I know you're a mess, but I think you're a great guy. And I'm going in this consciously, but I know you're a mess. So sure enough, 3 months into the relationship, I couldn't handle any more emotional closeness. My life was in chaos, as I said before, and I had a fear of getting close to someone. But first off, she stroked my ego. She was very conscious and aware. And sure enough, 3 months into the relationship, I ended it. Now, we had a very conscious uncoupling. And because of that, we've remained social friends. I mean, we're on Facebook together. By the way, she got married shortly. She met a great guy and got married shortly after our relationship ended. I felt like by the way, do you know how many women have dated me and have gotten married shortly thereafter? I think it's happened like a dozen, maybe not a dozen times, but I feel like that movie, Good Luck Chuck. If you date me, as soon as we end, you're going to have a great relationship. Not sure if that's the case, but Diana's very sweetheart, rose-colored glasses. I still keep this on my desk. So I want to share with you, that's a conscious woman who understood the 3 reasons why men lose interest. Okay, let's take some more questions. Sassy writes, he goes hot and cold because of avoidant or dismissive attachment styles. That is possibly true. For those who are not familiar, I highly recommend reading the book Attached by Amir Levine and Rachel Heller. Understanding avoidant or dismissive attachment styles will greatly help you understand why men can be hot and cold. All right. Thanks, Sassy. Linda writes, she's a bit off his she bit off his penis. Actually, she cut off his penis. All right. Leaf writes, didn't have room to say he used to go to a counselor with his ex and alone after, but did not stay committed. Suggested we go. He said counselor only saw singles now. Sad to let him go. So I don't really know what to comment on that. A lot of people go to therapy with a partner, but are they going to therapy to heal their own shit? That's what I'm a big proponent of. Do you agree with therapy? Hit that like. I want to see that like button increase if you agree to therapy. Okay, Casey writes, divorced boyfriend says he can't commit because he'd do anything to be under the same, he can't commit because he'd do anything to be under the same roof as his children again. But he also says he knows that he'll never happen. So why leave me? Please interpret. I got to read this again, everyone. Divorced boyfriend says he can't commit because he'd do anything to be under the same roof of his children again. But he also says he knows that will never happen. So why leave me? So that's just a bullshit excuse. He'll do anything to be on the roof of his kids, but he wants to have sex with you. What it means is he wants companionship, connection, and sex, but he doesn't want commitment with anyone, and he's just using that as an excuse. Because if he wants to be under the same roof of his children and he knows it can't happen again, then come up with, I wasn't under the same roof as my children for 15, 16 years. I learned how to create a new relationship with my boys, taking them out to lunch on a regular basis, spending time with them on a regular basis, doing shit together. You can do this. You can find an alternate way to be with your children. Don't use that bullshit excuse. Casey, I'm sorry you heard that. Or I mean, from him. Linda writes, good for you. Didn't it taste like a Labrador? Okay. Boo writes, do you consider spiritual work as self-help? So I call it personal development, self-help, and spiritual work. Spiritual work is more understanding our, the God within us, our higher self. Self-help is working on ourself, our limiting beliefs and negative patterns, and so is personal development. This is why I'm such a big proponent of reading this book. This is my Bible, ladies. The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. This is a spiritual book. This is a great book for getting inside your own head. Let me repeat this. This is a great book for getting inside your own head. And this is my invitation for you to do this work. Is this sinking in? Please let me know. Post a comment below. All right, let's take another question. All right. Oh, which movie does not star both Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks? Which movie does not star both Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks? First, You've Got Mail. Second, Joe versus the Volcano. Third, French Kiss. And fourth, Sleepless in Seattle. Again, which movie did not star Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan? Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. You've Got Mail, Joe versus the Volcano, French Kiss, and Sleepless in Seattle. Let's see who gets this right. Thanks, Linda. Hugs back to you. Have you heard of Kevin Samuels' advice to men? It's so hard to hear that many men think he's on point with single parents. So ironically, Lynette, that was the person I listened to today that said that men are easy and simple. What a crock of shit. So yes, I've heard him, but I just heard a little bit about him. And literally, here's an interesting spiritual thing. I heard about him today for the first time, and now he's popping up through one of you ladies. How fascinating. Being single sucks. Yeah, being single does fucking suck. But you know what? Being in a shitty relationship sucks too. You know what matters most? The relationship you have with yourself. That's the most important relationship, and that's my invitation for all of you. Have a great relationship with yourself. By the way, we're going to be wrapping up soon. When a guy is upper 50s, has a major career disappointment, how horrible does that affect his behavior, especially in a new relationship only 3 months ago? Okay, Ronald, I want you to listen to the beginning of this. I want you to go back to listening. I addressed this extensively. Please go back to the beginning and listen because I addressed it. All right. French Kiss, you are correct, Jennifer and Nerd. And no, Nadia, you did not get that right because Sleepless in Seattle did have Meg Ryan. And it was the movie French Kiss. All right. You know, this looks like a good place to wrap up. I'm going to repeat those 3 reasons why men lose interest. It's not you. And please tell me if you like this. First reason, he has chaos in his life. He has chaos in his life. Second, he fears getting too close because of past disappointments. And third, he has performance issues. These are 3 reasons amongst many reasons why he might lose interest that has nothing to do with you. What's most important is you work on your own self-worth, self-confidence, self-esteem, and most of all, your own self-love. If this resonates with you, please check out the link to a free discovery call with me in the description. If you can't afford coaching, check out the link to my group called Midlife Love Mastery. For a small fee every month, you can have direct access to me on practically a daily basis. And if you post questions in our private group, I'll shoot a video specifically to you. Check out the link below. And also my recommended books, and listen to my podcast called the What Would Love Do podcast. All right. We're going to let that shit go. I hope you had fun this evening. Please tell me if you did. And if you're watching the replay all the way to this point, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope there was some value. Please let me know if I provide value for you. And please tell your friends, share this video with others. I would be truly grateful. I'm so glad over 100 people were on live at this time. Let's get that up to 200, 300 or more. All right. Salty is going to get ready to say goodbye. Rose-colored glasses. Remember that. Wasn't that a sweet gift, Diana? Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to wrap up this video as I always do. First off, giving myself a big, gigantic Jonathon Bear hug of self-love. I'm going to reach into the camera and give you a hug of love if that's okay. I'm going to ask you to turn to someone or a pet or a teddy bear or a pillow and give it or them a hug of love, because hugs are a great source of love and we can all use more love in our lives. Thanks a bunch. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Salty says bye. Thank you so much, Lee. Thank you, Boo. Thank you, Mia. Thank you. Oh, I am love. Oh, all of you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Wishing you a fabulous evening. Bye-bye now.